A poor mechanic found a baby in a broken car. 10 years later, she called him dad in court. Liam Carter had seen his fair share of abandoned cars. As a struggling mechanic in a small town, he spent his days fixing up rusted engines and broken transmissions. But nothing could have prepared him for what he found that cold November evening. It was just past midnight when he heard the knock on his shop's garage door. He pulled it open to find no one there, just an old, dented sedan parked outside, its hazard lights blinking. The engine was still warm, but the driver was nowhere in sight. Something didn't feel right. Curious, Liam opened the driver's side door. That's when he heard it, soft whimpers, barely audible over the wind. His heart pounded as he followed the sound to the back seat. There, wrapped in a thin blanket, was a baby girl, no older than a few weeks. His hands trembled as he scooped her up. She was shivering. Someone had left her here, alone, in the cold. Liam looked around, calling out into the darkness. No answer. The street was empty. Whoever had left her was long gone. That night, everything changed. Liam wasn't a man with much to offer. He barely made enough to keep his shop running. His one-bedroom apartment was cluttered with auto parts and bills he couldn't pay. But as he cradled the tiny girl in his arms, he knew one thing: he couldn't leave her. The next morning, he went straight to the police. The officers searched for the baby's parents, but weeks passed with no leads. Social services prepared to take her in, but each time Liam thought of handing her over, something inside him resisted. She needs someone, he told the social worker one day. She needs me. It was crazy. He had no experience with children. No money. No stability. But he had something else, love. And so, against all odds, Liam became her foster father. He named her Emma. Life wasn't easy. Liam took extra shifts, fixed cars late into the night, and learned to make peanut butter sandwiches with one hand while fixing carburetors with the other. Emma grew up in the garage, playing with old wrenches and pretending to fix cars just like her dad. She was bright, curious, and full of life. Liam never told her the full story of how she had come into his life. Not yet. All she knew was that he had found her, and he had stayed. And for Emma, that was enough. One day, when Emma was 10, Liam received a letter that made his heart stop. It was from social services. Emma's biological mother had been found. She wanted her back. Liam felt his world shatter. Legally, he was just a foster parent. He had no official claim to Emma. If her mother wanted custody, there was little he could do. The courtroom was quiet the day of the hearing. Emma sat beside Liam, her small hand gripping his. Across from them sat a woman with tired eyes, her birth mother. The judge turned to Emma. Do you understand what's happening today? Emma nodded. Yes, sir. The judge continued, you have the right to live with your biological mother if you choose. Do you want to? Emma stood, her voice strong despite the tears in her eyes. I know she gave birth to me. But she didn't raise me. She didn't stay when I needed her. He did. She pointed to Liam, her voice breaking. He's my dad. The courtroom fell silent. Liam felt a lump in his throat as the judge turned to him. Mr. Carter, do you wish to adopt this child legally? Liam swallowed hard. With everything I have, Your Honor. The gavel hit the sound block. Then from this day forward, Emma Carter, you are officially his daughter. Tears streamed down Liam's face as Emma ran into his arms. He had started with nothing, a struggling mechanic, alone in the world. But in that moment, he realized he had everything he'd ever needed. Love. Family. A daughter who had chosen him. And no matter how they had found each other, that was all that mattered.